welcome to my very first vlog only video on this channel, except for maybe my channel introduction. I'm so nervous! So today I wanted to talk about my Japanese host families to you guys, because in my previous videos I mentioned a lot of time that I had to change host families, not only once but actually a lot of times. So that's why today I just thought I'd tell you about all my previous host families, who they were, and how I finally got here. Also, I wanted to say that this is just my personal experience, so if you come to Japan for exchange, you might have a totally different experience. So you might stay with the same host family for example for a whole year. However, I have to say that at least for my program, it seems like a lot of people have to change host families quite often, so some of my friends had to change up to 6 times, which is kind of tough. I also have some friends who went to Japan with different programs and they had absolutely no problems and stayed with their host family for the whole year or the whole time of their stay. So I think it's maybe just my program, but I'm going to do a whole different video about the experiences I had with my program and the problems I had with my program, because I think actually there is a reason why they always have like the problems with the host families and everything. So I'm going to talk about that later, so you can stay excited for that, and let's just start from the beginning. So I was supposed to go to Japan in January 2015 and I didn't get my program information, so like the host family's information and the school's information, until the end of December 2014. So I had like 1 month left to buy all the things the school requested me to buy. The fun thing about that is that you're actually supposed to get those informations directly from your program, but it turned out that my host family was faster than my program. So one day there arrived like a huge letter thing where they wrote a letter and they put a picture inside of it and some magazines of the area. So my first host family was an older couple. They were already retired and had a grown-up daughter living in Tokyo. I think the host mom was 70 and like the host dad was 72 or something. Now when I say couple, I mean they were married and they were basically living in the same building, but they were living really apart from each other. So the host dad, they lived on the first floor, and then me and my host mom were living on the second floor, so I barely ever got to see the host dad. So it was basically just like this grandma and me, which was totally fine because she was really nice. She had a lot of interest in foreign countries. She also had a lot of experience with exchange students, and she went to Germany for like 20 times or something. She was crazy. The only problem was that this house was 2 hours away from my school, which wasn't only tough for me because I had to ride the train 2 hours to the school and then 2 hours back from the school, but also for my host mom because she needed to get up at the same time as I did, which was around 5 o'clock in the morning, to make me breakfast and drive me to the station, those kind of things. Anyways, I had a lot of fun at her house. She introduced me to a lot of her friends. We went shopping, we went to Tokyo. What was also really nice was she owns a kimono rental shop. So people go there and rent kimonos and they then walk around in them and then they bring them back. And because she owned it, I was able to try on all those kimonos for free. However, it was clear that I couldn't stay at her house until the end of my exchange, not only because of the far distance from my school, but also because it turned out that her daughter was having a baby at the end of March, and she came home back to my host mom's house for the time right after she gave birth, just so she wouldn't be alone taking care of the baby in Tokyo. And now you can imagine, if there's like a tiny little baby at your house, you don't really have the time and the nerves to also take care of an exchange student. So I clearly had to change host families. However, my program didn't manage to find a new host family for me in time. So what we did was my host mom took care of it by herself. She just asked to all her friends to like keep me for 3 days or 4 days. So I stayed with 3 of her friends for the time the daughter was at her house with the baby. And that was really stressful, as you can imagine. Changing houses every 4 days is not fun. And at that point my program was totally out of options. So they actually asked me to go live with an English family living in Japan, which was kind of not the purpose why I came to Japan, to go live with an English family. However, we went to their house and got to meet them, and they were really, really nice, and their house was awesome, and they had 2 Japanese boys that they adopted. So I thought maybe it wouldn't be a problem. We then asked them, and they said that they spoke English at home, like only English. And I mean, I came to Japan to study Japanese, to improve my Japanese, and I can't do that when I'm living in a house where only English is spoken. However, there seemed to be totally no other option, so I kind of arranged myself with it, be like, yeah, I can manage it, I can study Japanese in school and then also improve my English. So I had already packed all my things and was going to move to that family's house the next day when I got a call from my program, and they said they finally found a Japanese host family for me. So we packed all my things and we went to that host family, we went to meet them, and I think they didn't even know that the day I went to meet them was also the day I was going to move into their house. So they didn't have everything prepared yet, and so we did that together and it turned out nice. So my new host family, which is the family I am living with for 3 months now and where I am right now, is just a normal family. They have 3 daughters, one who is my age, but she doesn't live with us anymore, so I'm using her room and all those things. And then the older sister is 21 or something, and she's a university student. And then the youngest of the 3 daughters is a high school student at the high school I go to, so we go to school every morning together, so that's really nice. Also, my new host family's house is really close to the school. It takes like 10 minutes to get there by bike, which is way better than 2 hours of train ride every morning. Then, of course, apart from being really close to the school, it's also nice to have some host sisters that are around the same age as me. Also, the house we live in is really nice. It's actually 2 houses because, well, one is like the old house where they used to live, and then there's like a new house where they actually want to move, but it's not quite finished yet, so like the kitchen and the bathroom are still not, you can't use them. So to take a shower and for the meals we always go to the old house, and then for sleeping we'll come back to this house, which is kind of strange, but it's also kind of fun. So this was just my story, how I finally found a host family in Japan, and if you want to know anything about living with a Japanese host family or just family life in Japan in general, you could write your question down in the comments, and if there is enough questions, I'd really like to do a Q&A someday. So if you like this video, you could give it a thumbs up, and I just hope to see you next time. Bye!